Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Aquarius March 2023 weekly illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So, hi, everyone, and welcome. In today's reading, we're going to be looking at the energies ahead for the week, and this is really meant to be for the week that from the date that you watch. So if you do watch this a little later in the week, or I post it a little later in the week, then just take it for the next 7 days. Now, we're going to be looking at the energies of what you're bringing to the table, which happens to be the King of Cups here, Aquarius. Then we're going to be taking a look at what's going on around you and your environment. And then we're going to be looking at a block or a challenge that you're going to be facing, advice from Spirit on how to overcome it, and then a possible opportunity or a potential to kind of level up in your experience that is coming in for you. All right. So let's get right into your reading, Aquarius. So we have the King of Cups as your internal energy, and the King of Cups is one of really getting in touch with your emotions. It harnesses the energy of Scorpio, so this is a deep water sign, really getting down into the depths of our emotions. And that's interesting because, Aquarius, you are an air sign, and you're an air sign that is a fixed air sign. So often you pull more into the realm of the imagination, into kind of the realm of spirit and what is above. And you don't always ground yourself into the depths of your emotions. So this is a very beautiful time period, kind of a portal, a window into really getting clear as to what you feel and getting ready to lead from that place, to take action from that place, because that's what the King of Cups does. He understands the value of his emotions. He he leads through following on those emotions. But the beauty of the King of Cups is that he does not get overwhelmed by those emotions. So he's an individual that at times can almost seem dispassionate or unemotional because of how he sits so confidently in what he feels. An emotion might rise up, he honors it, he looks at it, and he understands how he needs to integrate that into his experience and where he wants to take action. But he doesn't let it rise up and overwhelm him or overwhelm others around him. So it's a beautiful place of emotional maturity, emotional grounding, and getting really clear as to how you want to utilize the emotions that are coming up for you now and how you want to really integrate those into where you choose to take action next. Now, in your external environment, we have the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. Very interesting. I get the feeling that many of you are avoiding something, that you are avoiding seeing something, you are avoiding maybe even someone who is watching you. The Page of Swords is someone who sometimes can be seen as the spy because it's the individual who's collecting information, trying to gather more information, gain more clarity and context. Now, for some of you, you might be running away from that within yourself, that there's something that needs to be seen that you're choosing not to see or don't want to be seen, or there's a difficult conversation or decision that needs to take place and you or someone in your experience is trying to avoid that. This could also be, because this is your external environment, this could be someone else. This could be where you're trying to gather more information and you want to go out there and kind of, because the Page of Swords can also be the curious individual who's like, I just want to know more about this. Let's go out and see and find out. And someone in your life could be trying to avoid that. Like, I don't want to go see that. I don't want to gather more information. I don't want to know that. It's a little bit of, I don't want to know that. So whether this is you or someone in your experience, keep that in mind. Now, looking at what's happening here, kind of going from the recent past energies up to the present, we have the Seven of Swords in the past. The Seven of Wands in the past, which is a defensive energy. It's one where we are choosing to defend where we want to take action. And then we have the Three of Wands, which is a point where we are kind of waiting for our ships to come in. We have taken action, obviously, here with the Seven of Wands. It speaks to this individual took action, has now defended it, and is waiting for something new to come in. Maybe this is where you said, I want to follow a new career path, or I want to move houses, or I want to go out into the dating world again. And so you're waiting. You're like, okay, let's see what comes in for myself. But as you're waiting, there may have been this period of time where you're like, okay, I'm waiting. And with the Page of Swords, there might need to be a little bit more of where maybe what you're waiting to come in needs more information, needs you to go out in a way that is more proactive in seeing what, to kind of help bring in what you want. Because with the Four of Swords here in the present, this is a time of reflection. This is where you're sitting here and taking a look at the pain of the past. The Three Swords represent the Three of Swords in the tarot, which is the wounds from the past that haunt us in the mental place, but then pierce us down in our heart space. And in our emotional space. And then the individual here has his one sword of truth laying next to him. And this is that kind of gleaning of what is all the negative, fearful stories we tell ourselves and all the negative things that we believe about ourselves that have come from the wounds of others or from external situations. And what's the actual truth about who you are, about what you're capable of, about just who you are as an individual who has a unique perspective. And I think for some of you, you're actually gaining clarity on this part of yourself. You're gaining clarity as to who you are and how maybe these fearful stories or the fear of repeating the wounds of the past have held you back from maybe really, instead of waiting for something to come in, maybe to go after yourself. And your emotions are going to be the judge of that for you. I think for many of you who don't rely often on going into the depth of your emotional space to gain clarity, this might be, kind of a difficult week. It might be like you feel like you're going into the depths of despair, but maybe it doesn't feel like despair. It might just be the depths of feeling things you've not allowed yourself to feel, admitting to yourself that this is just, it's true, this is how you feel. Maybe these wounds have hurt you. The waiting has been frustrating. There is something, and I'm curious to see what's below this. Yeah, the Five of Swords and So this card below here is speaks to romantic love, and it's unique to this Rider-Waite version of the tarot. To me, it always speaks to really where we kind of lose ourselves in that beautiful romantic, it's true vulnerability. It's the Romeo and Juliet story of I'm going to love who I love and I'm going to just lose myself in that love. It's also a love that can feel like you've finally escaped from the world, and you've come together and you've beaten the world through love. But there's something here around the Five of Swords. There was kind of a fighting of that. There was a fighting of that, losing yourself in a relationship, losing yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable again from that space. Maybe it was because in the past you were hurt by an individual. This could actually be the individual yourself. It's themselves who you kind of had to push them away because there was something coming up, bubbling up from your past. Because the Five of Swords is an individual who's kind of trying to win at all costs. A person who's like, no, I'm just going to see it the way it is. Don't try to convince me otherwise. And then with the Seven of Wands coming up on top of that, this is really saying that you've been defending, basically not allowing yourself to be vulnerable in love, but then still looking towards the horizon for something to come in. And I think for at this point, this is that realization of maybe it's been you that has been pushing the awareness of whatever that, again, because it is specifically that romantic card in this deck, I really do feel like this is really speaking to a romantic relationship that you have either been trying not to go to that depths with, or where you push that away for so long because of the pain of the past that now maybe a new relationship is coming in. Maybe that is the Three of Wands that's coming in for yourself, and you're really having to, I think it's pushing you to really see how much you were wounded in the past, but now how much you've emotionally grown from that place, and how you might be ready now to really maybe enter into a new relationship. Ooh, we have the Queen of Wands. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles in this deck. And then we have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, I get this. It's strange that it's so specific around like losing yourself in love. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe in the past you have lost yourself in the other individual. And this might be kind of gaining the strength of independence, of maybe where at some point, with the Justice coming in, there's definitely a major rebalancing here. I do get the feeling that maybe at some point in your experience, there might have been a codependency. There might have been where you lost yourself in the other person that you were in a romantic relationship with or are still in a romantic relationship with. But there's a chance here to change that. With Justice coming in at the very end of your reading, there's a chance here to rebalance those scales and to, I think, face for a long time the truth about what happened in the past, the truth about how you engage with others on an authentic level, especially in romantic relationships, and maybe the truth about how it's been you that might have maybe been sabotaging relationships in the past because you've had one foot out the door, or that you've lost yourself, and so in the losing of yourself, you haven't actually been able to manifest for yourself in your own life that feeling of emotional stability and emotional fulfillment and love. The King of Cups can also represent love, but love from a masculine place, that kind of fatherly love, the love that comes from, I lead from that place. Now we have the Queen of Wands as your main point of challenge. And we have the Nine of Swords, the Prince of Pentacles. Again, that's the Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, and Justice. So the Queen of Wands, beautiful fiery energy. This is the energy of Aries, which we're actually working a lot with currently. So this is, really works well with you, Aquarius, as well, because when you think about it, you're an air sign, and air and fire are combustible. You can bring your ideas to an Aries, and that Aries is gonna run with that idea, kind of thing. But the Queen of Wands is also someone who is highly attractive. She's magnetic. For me, recently, when I pull these cards, now I'm clairaudient. I hear things. I do see things in meditation as well, but I am more clairaudient. So when I'm actually doing my readings, I hear phrases and things come in. And with the Queen of Wands, I've been recently hearing when she comes up, bloom where planted, meaning that she's the individual who holds her kind of magic wand. She can make flowers bloom in the middle of a barren landscape. That's what the original Rider-Waite Tarot depicts, with the sunflower growing up next to her, seated in the middle of a desert. And sometimes it's hard for us to sit there and embody this energy because it means we have to be seen. She is a performative energy. She is the energy of the individual who, on a Friday night, if she's sitting home alone and she's like, man, I really want to go out there and just live it up, she's going to put on her best dress and put on the best heels, or if she's a guy, she's going to put on, whatever she wants to wear. And this individual is going to go out there and they're going to dance their butts off, whether they're alone or with somebody else, because they simply want to do it. So there's a feeling here for some of you of maybe you haven't owned this part of yourself for some time because of it getting lost, or a part of this could be the part of you that got lost in past relationships, where you had to push this part of yourself down. And maybe you've been so long looking outward to something to kind of come in and save you. I'm getting almost that feeling here of the Three of Pentacles, of like, can something just come in here and save me? Can something just come in here and allow this part of myself that's been locked in the tower as a damsel in distress, can it come out and save this part? And I think for many of you, you're afraid to really unleash this part of yourself with the Nine of Swords coming in on the other side, because you're scared, you're worried. What if I do share this part of myself and it makes my partner, who's never seen that part of me, maybe feel less than? Because that can definitely be the case when we've gone from maybe being focused so much on another individual to all of a sudden it's like, it's me, it's the me show. And here I am, and I'm going to go out, and I don't care if you're 5'3" and I'm 5'4" and I put on my 6-inch heels and make you feel short. I'm going to go out there and do that. And I think for some of you, you're afraid of letting this fire come out because it might feel like it might get out of control. That, again, was kind of mixing like fire and air together, that it might be highly combustible. But with the King of Cups, you're bringing in the water. You have it within you through your love and through your emotional maturity and communicating from that place to temper this part of yourself. It's not that you should not allow that part of yourself to come out. It's that you can actually temper it through your emotions, through what you love, through the love for yourself and the love of other individuals, and for what you love, what you want to experience, and what do you want to make bloom where you're planted currently. Because at the heart of your reading, you have the Prince of Pentacles, which is the page, or the Knight of Pentacles, which is beautiful because this is Virgo energy, and we just had the beautiful full moon in Virgo. And Virgo is a sign of discernment. It's also a sign of planning, that step-by-step planning of, what do I want to grow? If I can grow anything and I want to bloom where I'm planted, then let's make a plan. Let me start to really make that plan so that I can have a harvest for myself. But it's going to first start with you facing this part of yourself, I think, that many of you have pushed down. Pushed down that part of yourself that, I don't want to be seen that way. I don't want to be seen as flashy, or I don't want to be seen as selfish. I don't want to be seen, there's something about that. And it's time for that part of yourself to be seen, Aquarius. And it's time to start making a plan. Now, on the other side of this, we have Seven of Swords, which is that card of avoidance. It's a card of going out there to gather the information to be able to make this plan, to be able to say, if I really want to bring a new romantic relationship into my life, then it has to be me doing the research, finding the individual. I can't just be waiting. Or if this is me and I want to go out there and maybe if this is where you're still in a current relationship, I want to make where I live exactly what I want. Or maybe you've been a long-time stay-at-home parent, or a long-time person who's been the head of the household, and now you want to reverse that. Maybe you want to be the one that stays at home and focuses on your passion projects, and all you want to do is, garden. Or the reverse. Maybe now all you want to do is go out into the world and work and show your magic. But there has to be a plan. And the plan has to come from you really being, I think, honest about yourself, honest about where you've been hiding a part of yourself, and where in maybe perhaps losing yourself in a past relationship, or losing yourself in relationships, or in a current relationship, that you've kind of stifled your personal growth, and you've stifled your ability to see your own truth about what you're truly capable of and what you're capable of bringing in for you. Because if you can do that, then we have Justice coming in at the end here. And Justice is the card truly of divine balance. It is where if you can bring out this part of yourself, you're balancing an imbalance in your life that has probably long been present, where again you've put a part of yourself aside out of fear of what's happened between you and other individuals who have been in a very vulnerable relationship. There's also a contractual element that comes through with Justice, that for some of you may be facing a contract. This might be, signing the deed to a new home. This could be signing a marriage contract. This could be, and in doing that, and finally allowing this part of yourself to become vulnerable, to say, yes, I'm going to commit to buying this home with this individual. Suddenly the balance has shifted. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign the marriage contract with this individual. It's finally you're facing that fear of really leaning into what you love. Taking action from that place. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some additional cards here. But yeah, I do get a feeling that there's a lot of fear around being seen. And yeah, here, so we have the Knight of Wands with the Queen of Wands. The Knight of Wands is an individual who is a Sagittarian energy. And it's the energy of just wanting to go out there and do what feels good. And for maybe many of you, that is part of your Queen of Wands, is that you want to go out there and be kind of that spiritual adventurer. You want to go out there and have the adventure. And maybe for some people, yeah, here's the Queen of Wands again. Okay, so double confirmation. There's not a lot of clarity here aside from this is saying it's time to honor the magic within. The Queen of Wands can also be seen as the witch archetype in the tarot, because you'll see that often, and I think, yeah, even in this one, there's a little tiny cat. You'll see the black cat in these images bringing forth that element of her connection to the occult and to magic. So for many of you, you've been hiding this part of yourself that wants to go out into the world to discover more about yourself, to just do what feels good, to just have fun. And I think there's been a part of yourself that's been worried because it's like, well, how are people going to view this part of myself? Are they going to see me as someone who is not trustworthy, which can sometimes be the Knight of Wands? Are they going to see me as just somebody who just is like a thrill seeker or just wants to go out and have fun? What is my significant other going to think after we've, done nothing for so long, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I want to go on a vacation every month, or I'm going to start rock climbing, or, there's a part of that where it might come across as like, whoa, what the heck? But you have to go back to your honoring your emotions and really being able to, when somebody might come up and say like, well, what the heck, why do you want to do this all of a sudden? Or why are you showing yourself in this way? To come at it from a place of understanding why it is important to you, from a place of emotional investment, of because I feel passionately about this, because I feel love. This makes me feel love for life, love for myself. The King of Cups can also be seen as a spiritual advisor. He is someone who is so in touch with his emotions and therein to his intuition and connected to spirit that he can be seen as that individual who kind of can almost see ahead and be able to, through his his emotions and intuition or emotional connection, be able to advise others on, maybe how on a plan or how to see or interpret something. Okay, so we have the Nine of Coins for the Nine of Swords, which for some of you that may be a fear of a loss of independence, judgment, and temperance. Ooh, okay. It could be a fear of losing a comfort zone that you're in. The Nine of Pentacles speaks to a level of physical independence and comfort you've long held, and where you kind of get to enjoy that, but then it can become a comfort zone where, okay, if you want to level up and get to that 10 of Pentacles, you have to leave the comfort of that walled garden or that gilded cage. And with Judgment and Temperance, I think there's this feeling of a new part of, with Judgment, there's always been a deep change. It makes reference to the fact that some part of you has died away and you have been born anew. And that can speak to a change of life, for people who go from being a student to someone in the working world. That's a change in who you are. The student is dead, so to speak, and now you are the individual who is working their way up in a career path. Or this can be where you become a parent, or this can become where you go from, always having worked for somebody else, and suddenly now you are the business owner with others depending on you. But it talks to a big change of life, or a change in how you are now seen in the position that you hold. And with Temperance coming in, Temperance is obviously moderation, but there's also a sense of divine timing, of learning how to moderate your emotions with where you choose to take action. And I think for some of you, there's this feeling here of there has been a change in your life, and maybe how you are seen. Maybe now you have become a parent, or you become a wife or a husband or a spouse. And that might be challenging your level of independence. And this is saying you can bring both of those together. But the worry, I think, for some of you is that you're going to lose your independence, or that you're going to lose a sense of abundance that you currently have. And this is saying, don't go too far down that rabbit hole of the negative what ifs. This is saying you can actually leverage your current state of independence and blend it with the new person that you're becoming. Now we have Justice coming in at the heart of your reading again with the Prince of Pentacles here. So this is that place of where you can really rebalance, where you start to plan ahead for the future. Now, this could be that you're planning ahead again for a contractual agreement, or just in the planning now, you're rebalancing the scales to bring the power back to yourself. That I am making this plan. I am choosing to grow these seeds in the hope of the crop I want to plant. And with the world coming in, this is stating that there's been an end to a major cycle here. And it could be that maybe you had been working towards something for some time, and it's saying that has come to an end and a new plan must be put in place now. And this new plan or this new cycle that's starting is going to be one that balances out what happened in the past cycle. Then we have the Queen of Swords and the Two of Coins around the Seven of Swords. Yeah, I think for many of you, there's been a level of kind of just getting lost in the day-to-day because of the fear of reliving something from the past. The Queen of Swords can be an individual who tells an empowering story. She knows her story. She tells other people what she's been through, what she's learned about herself, what she's capable of, what she's survived. But for some of you, I think you've been so much in this place of, that's what happened to me, and so I don't want that to happen again, that then the Two of Coins comes in here and it's like, well, I'm just going to focus on getting through today. I'm just going to focus on doing all of this stuff. The Two of Coins can be where we're literally just keeping ourselves busy for the sake of being busy so that we don't have to see what we're trying to avoid. And this part of your story might be, I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. I'm always, exhausted. I'm always, and it's like, okay, well, that's great. But is that really bringing in, is you just staying busy for the sake of staying busy? Is that really honoring your inner magic? Is that really honoring are you blooming where you planted? Or are you just withering and waiting for something more to happen? So really, really, I know this is kind of a hard reading to hear, but it is coming through a little bit like that. Yeah, and there's that Nine of Swords again and the Page of Swords. I think for many of you, there's this fear of just wanting to go out and have fun. You've gone now from the Queen of Wands to the Page of Wands to the Knight of Wands to the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is that innocent, childlike energy. It's the wanting to just play for the sake of play, the wanting to just every day go out there and do something that plays on what you're passionate about. And I think there's this big fear about getting to that place. Now, this could also indicate a child in your life. There may be a fear around that of maybe you are entering into, maybe that judgment is becoming a parent. And there may be that fear coming through of, I don't know if I'm ready to do that. But there also could be the fear of, the fear more of just wanting to go out and do what's fun. Just wanting to show yourself authentically. Like, here I am. The Queen of Wands is not going to tone herself down. She is an individual who's like, here I am. Here's my wand. I'm going to make the drink I want appear before me. I'm going to make my dress look the way that I want. It's one of those kinds of things where she doesn't tone herself down. And I think for many of you, maybe there's been a long-held fear about really showing yourself in your highest form or power because maybe it has been not well received because others are threatened by it. And it's time now to step up into that heightened version of yourself, to realize that you are in a new cycle, that you are now in a new place in your life. You hold a new kind of position or title. You have achieved a certain level of independence for yourself, and be proud of that. And in you facing either possibly finding a new romantic relationship or getting into intimate relationships, or simply just making a plan for what you want to bring into your life that's going to make you feel, that's going to unlock the inner child within, that is not going to, it's going to bring in the right people this time, because you're putting yourself in a position of power and authority. You're the one who's not just getting lost in the day-to-day. You're coming from a place of conscious awareness of what you feel and how you want to feel every day in your life. So really keep that in mind. The bottom of the deck, I love it. The star. That's your energy, Aquarius. That is the Aquarian energy, is the star. This is that realization of who you are, what star is yours in the night sky. We all have a star, but yours is unique to you. And so you get a chance, you need to honor that star. You need to follow that star. You need to go for what you intuitively want to lose yourself in, but not lose yourself to, if that makes sense. This is not at the expense of yourself to lose yourself. This is in support of yourself to lose yourself in the pursuit of your star. Okay, so here, yeah, and here it is, walking away. This card actually speaks very much to the Nine of Pentacles here, which is, yeah, you've been in your beautiful gilded garden for a long period of time, but now it's time. There's a bigger world out there for you that is full of new love, that is full of new passion, that is going to honor this version of yourself, the Queen of Wands version. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some clarifiers. Let's get a little bit more information about this walking away. Yeah, the Devil. Yeah, you're holding yourself back. What holds yourself back from walking out there? Is it, again, that fear? Is it the fear that you're not going to continue to have this level of independence, that if you leave it behind, you'll never give it back? Is it the fear of being seen and pushing other people away, or that part of yourself is going to push people away? Is it the fear that you're not good enough? Or is it just the pain of the past, pure and simple as that? Really keep that in mind. And then we have the Queen of Cups and the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is a card of recognition and success. And the Queen of Cups is that kind of unconditional, motherly, maternal love. And I think for many of you, you want this. You want that love of self. You want to really kind of lead from a place of intuitive knowing. And I think for many of you, you know what you want to be recognized. You know what would feel like success for you. That's the Six of Wands. You know what that would feel like. And that's the part of yourself that you really have to get in touch with, is what is that part of yourself that you want to love and nurture? That part of yourself that needs to have unconditional love and that needs to be celebrated. And I think that's what you're walking towards as you go out into the world. That part of yourself is going to be recognized. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to pull one final card here for the Power of Surrender deck. I'm just going to say this just for a very few of you, only because it just kind of came in intuitively just this moment. For some of you, the Devil is the need for what you think is success, or trying to manipulate something in your life where you feel like you have to be seen in a specific way. The reason why I'm saying that is because the Queen of Cups can represent is Cancer energy, and kind of shadowy or dark Cancer energy can be the individual, can be the manipulative mother, can be the individual who plays on the emotions of others around her. And so there can be a little bit of that coming through, that maybe for some of you, you might have a mother in your life who maybe you've played the victim to another individual, maybe played the victim to their romantic partner. Or maybe for some of you, this is the energy you've kind of adopted, where you have to be seen, you have to be in the spotlight. And if you walk away from everything towards something else, you might not be in the spotlight anymore. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's a little bit of that coming through here, that might be what's holding you back, is this kind of fear around the maternal, or fear that you might not be seen by a mother as what you think they want to see you as. Success is truly individual experience. So keep that in mind, Aquarius. It's almost like this could be like where you're living at home and you're ready to leave the nest, and the parent is like, but no, you're my everything, you're my best friend. Like, or if you leave the nest, it better be to start a family with someone, because that'll show on me the level of success, and how I've raised you. It can be a little bit of that. So just kind of keep that in mind. Do what you need to do for yourself, Aquarius, not what a mother figure wants you to do, or what somebody else in your life wants you to do, or what you think you have to become or be seen as, because of how that will reflect on someone else in your life. Okay, yeah, we have surrender obsessive thinking. It says, if you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. Which I love this card coming up. So I think for anyone who has a lot of air sign placements in their chart, I am included. I've got a lot of Gemini and Libra in my chart. I even have an Aquarius South Node. Obsessive thinking is a way of being for many of us air signs. So this is really saying, again, turning the dilemma over to spirit. And part of that spirit is getting in connection with spirit through your King of Cups. And I just noticed the 10 of Cups at the bottom here. I love that. Oh. Okay, so we have the 7 of Wands and we have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, for many of you, you're defending too much, I think, kind of the negative storyline for you, the plot line. And instead there needs to be a kind of a re-examining of the story you tell yourself in the level of power you have in intimate relationships, whether this is between you and a romantic partner, whether this is between you and a mother figure in your life, or you even with other feminine, anybody else who might kind of bring in that Cancer energy. I think there's definitely something here around beginning to realize how you can change the story of how you view yourself, what you're truly capable of, what you've actually survived, and defending yourself from that place instead of maybe defending why you don't want to let this part of yourself out or step up into a true, kind of authority figure in your life because of the negative things, A lot of times when we're avoiding, especially with the 7 of Pentacles or 7 of Swords coming in here multiple times, the more we were trying to avoid seeing something, the more it starts to lead to this obsessive thinking, because we're like, I don't want to realize the fact that I really want to have a romantic relationship again. I really, really want that. But then we're like, no. Like, I've been hurt in the past. I'm not gonna get all jazzed up and go out on a Friday night to find that individual. I'm just going to sit here and think about like all the times I've been hurt, but yet all you're doing is thinking about the times you've been hurt and thinking about how you're never going to find somebody and it's just not for you. It's like this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. So there's something here around that. So keep that in mind, that you can change the story. You can change the story, and where you just, instead of focusing on what you're not getting, you can focus on the positive within yourself, of focusing on the empowering points within your story, focusing on what you love about yourself, focusing on what you feel, honoring your feelings, and then facing them in a mental place, facing how you think about your own feelings, about how you think about yourself in dynamics and close dynamic relationships with others. And how maybe you haven't been following your star because, again, the fear of really owning your own magic and letting it out there, and just kind of walking out of your kind of walled garden into the great world as this version of yourself. It's almost like as she steps out of this garden, it's like, it'd be like if her robe came off and all of a sudden her butterfly wings come out and she's got, antenna and and suddenly here she is, but she had to hide that where she was. So keep that in mind, Aquarius. I don't know why that came through, but I hope it lends a little something to this reading for you. All right, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Let that inner part of you shine, and know that the more you do that, the less you are likely to lose yourself again in a work environment, in a parental relationship, in a love relationship. Remember, you can lose yourself in something, but not lose yourself to something. All right. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. Bye, Aquarius.